All right, it's a tale of two halves last night for the Clippers. They played the Hawks. No, I'm going to say they were without Kawhi or Paul George. I'm just going to say that. The Clippers went on a 20-0 run in the first quarter. They held a 19-point lead at the half, which, I mean, again, we saw this Clippers team without PG or Kawhi last year. They were very good. It's what we would expect, except the second half when the Hawks refused to go down without a fight. Trae Young, not on this team last night. He sat out to nurse an injured thigh. John Collins scoring 33 points, 16 rebounds. The Hawks ended up beating the Clippers by 7. So, Coach, the Clippers now have 14 losses this season.
Right.
Was last night their most embarrassing of the 14 losses?
I don't get into the embarrassing part because any night you can lose to any team.
Okay.
And especially with their 2 stars out. They're playing against a desperate team in Atlanta. The one thing that's interesting with Trae Young being out, as good as he is offensively, it took a non-defender off the floor, and it added more size to their lineup.
That's such a nice way. That's such a nice way. It took a non-defender off the floor.
I like the kid. He's going to get better. But right now, I just think it added a guy on the floor that can help them get stops.
Sure.
And that's how you come back from a 20-point deficit, is you got to put together some stops. And credit to Atlanta for hanging in there and digging in.
So this is one of those games where you look at the end of the season when you're talking about postseason matchups, like, well, they lost. It's like, it's just one game.
So you don't think this is their worst loss this season?
I don't think it's a worst loss because Trae wasn't there. Their 2 starters weren't there. Again,
what does it even mean?
I'll say this, though. Inside the Clipper locker room, those players and Doc are disgusted with themselves.
Yes.
Right? Because it's inexcusable. They have enough talent. They have enough scoring. They have enough defenders, and they play the right way that this should never happen. Do I think that this is going to have lasting effects? Are they no. They're pissed off at themselves, and rightfully so, but I wouldn't say that this was their worst loss.
Yeah, and every good team has a stinker.
Yeah,
that's just how it works. Like, you can rack up 2 or 3 of those a season. It don't matter how good your team is. Your championship team, y'all have some stinkers that year. We had some.
And I know as a
Miami.
coach, sometimes you don't even show the film. You're just like, we're just going to put that in the trash and go. I do want to ask you, though, Fizz, about the chemistry of this Clippers team.
Yeah.
Because I think they've done some smart things with how they have or haven't played Kawhi Leonard. He looks so rested and good right now, and this is the part of the season where you want to start to get it going. So all of that stuff, keeping him out, keeping Paul George out when he's even just mildly hurt, all of that clearly has been good for getting their stars where they need to be in the spring. But what about the chemistry aspect?
Well, obviously it's not killing them too bad because they have 30 wins on the season, so they're pretty dang good. But I think what you're going to start seeing is post-All-Star break. They're going to start playing those guys more together, and you're going to start seeing them rev up for the playoffs. And that's what it's about. You got to think big picture when it comes to a lot of these things. Again, I go back to that Toronto team that Kawhi was a part of, and he was on load management there. And look at what they did as they started to put it together in the second half of that season.
Yeah, and you want to be a better team in May than you were in April. You want to be a better team in June than you were in May. So chemistry, if you're a team that believes that you're going to win a championship, that believes you can get to the conference finals, so then you don't worry so much about chemistry now because you realize that you have all of April. You have all of May, right? That's what you really and truly believe. So it's like, yo, if we play 4 or 5 games against the same team so we can work on our chemistry and our communication, you're not as stressed. Now, Or you have guys that can get MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year? No, because those are regular season awards. Right. So you pretty much chalk all of that up and just say, hey, we're going to focus on improving, like he said, to the second part of the season.
I know on some of your Cavaliers teams, you guys didn't even start to work on your chemistry until the first round of the – that's what the first round of the playoffs
Well, it depends on what your definition of chemistry was. We were doing a lot of off-the-court bonding, but it was just like on the court, our chemistry, we were building up to that.
There you go. The difference between teams who think that they're playing a 6-month season versus an 8-month season.
Like you started off, you said first isn't always everything.
There you go. It's how you end.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.